and welcome to Nancy's Neighborhood on this dreary, rainy day. And I've been out in it twice today, so I'm not sure what I look like, and I really don't care. Had breakfast this morning, had to run through the rain to get to there, and had to run through the rain to get to the studio. So, but it's really a dreary day, but the rain was needed. So, and I know some of you are thinking, no, we didn't need rain anymore, but we did. And I have some guests today. The guests today are about activities, which I think are great. And so I'm thrilled to introduce you to our first guest, Andy Johnson. And Andy was raised in Cleveland. Some of you may know his mom and dad, Dr. Bill and Jackie Johnson. But Andy is in Chattanooga now, and he's with an organization called TryKidz, K-I-D-Z.
With a Z, yes.
With a Z. And so when I found this out, I thought, oh, this is fascinating. I have no idea what it is. So, Andy, tell us what TryKidz is.
Okay, well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Sure. TryKidz is a new business we started about 6-7 months ago, and it is all about youth sports and youth athletics and youth events. And so the market that we're trying to reach is that young elementary age up to like middle school, so first grade up to fifth grade or sixth grade. We are starting the business with some sports leagues, some kickball leagues, looking to add wiffle ball and some sports like that. Staying away from mainstream sports, so baseballs and stuff like that. We also have a component that we're going to be doing more events, so some running events and some family kickball tournaments and things like that. And then we've got a big event coming up on August the 11th.
That's soon.
August the 11th is very soon. It's next Saturday, Saturday week, at Baylor campus, a youth-only triathlon that we're super excited about. So 6 years old up to 14-year-old, we're going to be out there or swimming, riding their bike, and doing a little bit of running. So
wow.
Yeah. So the business is new, and it's kind of in its phase where we're trying to figure out what exactly we're going to do. But it's all basically about getting these kids out of the house, off the couch, off the Xboxes, and outside doing something. And in a competitive but not quite as seriously competitive as some of these, other sports are. Because we have been very involved with my kids' sports and know that there's a ton of kids that are just wanting to play. They're not so concerned about first place, second place. They just want to get out there and have some fun. So we've partnered with a company in Chattanooga that's doing the same type of stuff for an adult version.
Okay.
Chattanooga Sports Leagues. So we partnered with the owner, Tommy Travers, for that. So he's kind of helping guide this new business. He's kind of been through some of these trials and problems, so he's helping kind of avoid some of those. But we're excited. We've had one full season of kickball, and it had a blast. We've done a couple family kickball tournaments and been very receptive to the idea of moms and dads and cousins and stuff being on the same field at the same time. And oddly enough, the parents get very competitive.
No joke.
Even with like the 7 and 8 year olds out there, they get very competitive. So we've had to tweak some rules for that. But it's awesome, and my family's been very active, and we're very, outgoing and outside and doing a ton of stuff. And we're just trying to kind of push that with other kids and also the moms and dads.
And I think that's great. I know when I first started teaching, I coached elementary basketball. And one day I went in the office and I told the superintendent, I said, if you would just put me and the two teams and the other coach in the gym and lock the door, no parents, we would have a grand time. But parents get so involved in this, and then if they're competitive themselves,
right.
And I had a tendency when I was real athletic to be very competitive myself, then it could be
right.
a rule changer.
Well, we had, so my kids are 10 and 8, and they're at Chattanooga School for the Arts and Sciences, and like any other public school, they were needing someone to coach something. So I started coaching their track team, elementary track team, their elementary cross-country team, elementary basketball stuff, and quickly realized that, one, there's a need for that age group, and sometimes that age group gets left out in some ways. There's a lot of rec stuff going on, but some kids are nervous or timid to go out and try something new. They're scared about the team aspect and not knowing anybody, or it's going to be, they're not going to be good, and they're da-da-da. So, we want them to come out to a game, a sport that is not as serious as a sport. And, we've had kids come out that have never been on a ball field and never been on a team sport. And now the kickball is not like, it is a team, but it's not, the team kind of changes game to game, but they're still having to deal with other kids and stuff. So we just feel very strongly about the whole idea of being active. So that's kind of how it got started, was really my kids, me involved with my kids, their friends, their families, and just kind of spawned this idea of TryKidz.
And both of your kids are runners.
Both of my boys are extremely athletic and
It's hereditary.
extremely competitive.
It's in the genes. It's in the Johnson genes.
I guess so. But they're both runners. They love running. My oldest one is a big baseball player, plays basketball. My little guy, who's 8, is playing tackle football and plays baseball and basketball. So it's kind of like whatever season it is their favorite sport. So they're kind of, we looked at the demographic and the kid that we're trying to go and try to get involved in TryKidz, and it's really from A to Z. So our kids being kind of the more athletic end of it, and is very competitive, very team sport oriented, all the way down to the kid that could care less about, winning or whatever, but just wants to come out and have fun. And they get them all on the same field or court, and they seem to do fine and have a good time.
And to me, that's what sports is all about. I mean, you will have the athletes that are going to sign a pro contract or sign a basketball contract to be drafted to UT or this and that and the other. But most of our kids are just average athletes.
Right.
And athletics is so good because it's so healthy for us to be active. And I think this is wonderful. Now, I do have a question. How can the Cleveland kids become involved in TryKidz in Chattanooga?
Just like the Chattanooga kids are getting involved, I mean, as we grow, we hope to expand and try to do some things in Cleveland,
Oh, good.
some more events in Cleveland, and maybe do a league or two in Cleveland. But all of our information is on our website, www.trykids.com. It's got all of our league information and our event information, then as contact information and
Right.
stuff. So they can get involved. They can email, call, and we kind of talk about what they want. And if there's a group of people in Cleveland that would want to, form a team to come play kickball, or a couple of teams that play kickball, we can find some space in Cleveland and do a league in Cleveland as well. So
That'd be great. I loved kickball when I was in school. I thought that was so much fun.
yeah, it's awesome. My kids play, PE all the time, and PE in school is great, but they don't have enough of it.
Right.
I mean, my kids complain all the time that they have 20 minutes of PE. And
Right.
It's ridiculous. It really
Well, it is. By the time you line them up and march them down to wherever it is they have to go, then
And I get it, but so to offer them more things like that, and one of the other programs that we're fixing to start is basically an after-school PE program. We're going to kind of pilot it at the Bright School in Chattanooga,
Okay.
and offer it as one of their kind of after-school programs. It's about an hour and a half for like 8 weeks, 1 day a week. We're going to offer, the kids to be able to come play. 1 week it may be kickball. The next week may be dodgeball. The next week may be some kind of, running thing that they have to do. But just something to have more fun and get them out there to do. And I think we've had some other schools kind of contact us about that same idea, because they, aftercare for most parents is a big thing.
Absolutely.
But the kids don't necessarily have, they kind of just sit around. So
With their-
there again, we're trying to find things for these kids, to give opportunities to these kids to be able to go be active.
And I think that's great. Now, the triathlon that you're going to have on the 11th, I think I know that's running, swimming, biking.
Right.
And I know you've done the Ironman a couple of
Right.
times, and so I'm sure this is a modified.
It is
real
modified.
modified.
Obviously it is modified for the age groups, but triathlon for me, when Ironman started, when they first came to Chattanooga, it was really nothing that had ever been on my radar. After seeing the first one and seeing some friends do it, and seeing how awesome that event was. And that was 5 years ago. Kind of started a process for me personally to get involved and start doing triathlon. And it's been a huge part of the way that my entire family kind of thinks and lives now. And my kids have done a handful of youth-only triathlons and loved them. And seeing all these other kids out there figuring out what I figured out as an adult, of looking at something that looks impossible, working towards it, and doing it. And when you cross the finish line, you realize that you can do it.
I did it, yes.
So there is not anywhere in this area, Chattanooga, Cleveland, that's doing youth-only triathlons. There's been a few groups that have tried to do them, but it's a hard thing to do.
I can imagine.
Ironman definitely helps. Kind of people understand what that is.
Yes.
So this has been 2 years in the making for me personally. So I'm very excited to see it actually happen. So we're Baylor campus, August the 11th. The kids are going to swim in the pool.
Okay, I was going to ask
6 to
about
9 year olds is one group. 10 to 14 is another group.
Okay.
And they're two different distances. 6 to 9 year olds will swim 50 meters. They will ride their bike 2 miles, and they will run 1 mile.
that. Okay,
The 10 to 14s will swim 150 meters, bike 4 miles, and run 2 miles.
okay,
And we have, tons of volunteers. We're still looking for volunteers. If
Okay.
anybody would like to come down and check it out, feel free to call. Ton of parent volunteers and different organizations coming out to help support this whole thing. So it's going to be awesome. The kids will finish their run at the track at Baylor on the 50-yard line in the football field.
okay.
PA system and people
Oh,
announcing
neat.
them and stuff. So
Yeah.
we're trying to kind of take the culture of what Ironman does and making these events like very big and trying to push them towards the kids and let them have that kind of feeling of crossing that finish line with the medal. And we'll have awards, top 3 winners, top 3 places in each age group get a special award. But so we're excited about it.
Okay, so is it open to just anybody that would like to enter?
It is
that thinks
open
they
to
can.
anybody 6 to 14
Okay.
that is able to swim.
Uh-huh.
I like to put that on there.
Yes.
They can go to www.TryKidz.com. First thing they see is a big register button for the triathlon. Registration will be open through August the 10th,
Okay, the day before.
the day before. And then all the information is on the website about the day of stuff. But yes, it is still open. So we're looking for more kids that want to do it, and we're looking for other volunteers that want to help.
And I think that's great. Now, is there a fee for them to enter this triathlon?
There's a fee. I mean, there's some quite a few expenses that go along with that. The fee right now is in its last tier. It's $75 for a kid.
Okay.
With that, you'll get a little goodie bag with a T-shirt, some water bottles, some other stuff. We've been very blessed with a great group of sponsors this year. If I had the list, I would read them. We've had a good group of people in Chattanooga that understand the need for the importance of the youth and things for them to do. So they have really gotten behind this and supported it very well to the point where we can actually put this on.
I think that's great.
Yeah. So and we're looking at it as a long-term thing. So we want to do it this year, but we want to do it next year and do it next year. So a great group of sponsors will go a long way for the next few years.
Yes.
And get more people involved. We can make it bigger and better. So yeah, it's going to be awesome.
I think that sounds like a lot of fun. I mean, now I'm not a runner. I'm a swimmer, strictly leisurely, and bicycling. I just gave my bike to Broad Street the other day because they have a bike ministry, and because I don't ride anymore. But if they go to the website www.TryKidz, now is it capital T-R-Y, capital K? Doesn't make any difference.
It
whether
doesn't
we
matter. It's
okay.
not case sensitive, but it is kids with a Z.
It is kids with a Z, right? And that's .com.
.com.
Okay, so so Andy would love to have you all participate. Go on the website, and even if they don't participate in the triathlon, they may
check
want to
it
come
out.
down and watch it to
come
see
watch
what's
it.
going on.
If
'Cause-
if your kids have no clue what triathlon is, and they are curious, or they do know but they're scared to do it, just have them come down and be a spectator and watch and see how much fun these kids are having. And
I think that's a great idea.
yeah, when you have a bunch of people yelling at you and screaming for you, it makes you that much better and
Absolutely.
want to try that much harder. So
Absolutely.
the more
Absolutely.
people, the better.
Absolutely. Andy, I'm getting the cue from my producer that we have actually spent
done?
our time. We have.
Wow.
Thank you so much for being on with me today. I appreciate it, and I hope you get a good response from this. And if you'll send me some facts or things,
Sure.
I'll be glad to have the guys post them
Okay.
on the next couple of shows I do before August the 11th. So
Okay,
thank
great.
you.
Thank you.
Folks, don't go away. I'm going to be right back with my guest. We're going to heart walk. And that's a little different from triathlon, but we're going to heart walk, and I think I might could do that. So watch our commercials, support our sponsors because they pay our bills, and I will be right back.